What's up, it's your boy Ryan Leslie. You know I'm all about any movement that's for producers by producers. Salute and shout out one time to Instrosonly.com, the For the Culture podcast. Make sure you keep it locked.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Pino, producer.
Cheers.
My co-host V-Man.
How you doing, bruv?
This is For the Culture podcast, and today we have two very special guests.
Very special. Very special.
Coming in all the way from the US. My man's J Hatch.
Yep.
And my man's Cardiak.
Cheers.
What's going on,
Cheers. Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Hey.
Cheers,
Cheers. They're getting familiar with the UK slang.
Cheerio, mate.
Cardiak's been saying cheers all day. What's good, fellas?
What's good? What's going on, man? Appreciate you for having us,
I
man.
appreciate it. I'm actually, I'm very excited, man, like, to chop out with you guys, especially Cardiak as well. But
V-Man has been super gassed today.
I've been jumping like a little kid. I know I look humble right now, but right now I'm trying to be professional right here. Right now the kid inside of me is moving up and down crazy, but like, big fan, man.
When we told V that we got Cardiak, he was like, "Yo, P, you know Cardiak and Just Blaze are my two favorite producers ever." So I'm super excited.
That's straight out of Jersey, and these guys were like, "What? You got Cardiak, bro?" I was like, "No, Pino, you're lying to me."
That's what's good.
He's right here, man. And yeah, man. Thanks for coming down, bro. Appreciate it, man.
No doubt.
So, fellas, here in London, we took you out on like a tour today. What do you think of London?
It's alright. You know, a few places that remind me of back home, but you know, it's cool. It's dope. Dope culture. For all you guys that are just kind of tuning in, Pino made us walk a good 7 to 8 miles today.
Listen,
minimum.
Cardiak was like, "Yo, I want to go on some hikes today," so I took him. That's why.
At least I'm getting my workout in. It's cool.
Yeah, that's calm, bro. That's calm.
Well, what's going on, fellas? You know, obviously we're here this week because we got loads of events for Instros. We got the conference coming on Friday.
Yep.
We got the showcase on Saturday. Loads of producers from all around Europe. How you guys feeling about the events ahead?
I'm looking forward to it. I definitely want to hear some new sound and stuff, man. So I'm ready.
No doubt, man. I mean, this is my third time here, so it never fails to impress, man. You guys always have an amazing platform, and I was the first time I was here. I was telling Pino earlier today.
Yeah.
The first time I came here, and Black Belt Beats, who's also in the room. Man, his first beat that he played literally knocked me and Focus out of our seats. So, just to see the level of talent and even just the dedication of, the producers to their craft, you know what I mean? Because sonically it sounds amazing, which, I don't know if you would normally expect that outside of the States because there's such a high quality level when it comes to, placing music and stuff. But you guys already have a great hand on that, which is amazing. So, good stuff.
Man, we try. Cheers.
So, let's fix this mic. Coming over from the States, I mean, did you have any expectations about what kind of music you wanted to hear in the show?
I don't really have any expectations. I mean, except for it to be hot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear no bullshit. But I'm pretty open because I'm sure the culture is different everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure you're gonna hear a lot of different genres and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for me it's like, when I came here again the first time, I heard so much dope, true hip-hop stuff, For me, again, I didn't know what to expect. I was introduced to grime, first time ever when I came out here, and I was really kind of brought in by that and just the creativity level and the diversity of these producers. And, then I also saw the love for trap music and stuff like that as well, and I saw some people that were kind of emulating what was going on in the States, but I also heard a lot of stuff that was forward thinking. So, again, man, just a lot of talent out here, man. But what I really love about out here is how everybody comes from all of Europe to come here.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a UK event, but you got people from Russia, Czechoslovakia, and, crazy.
Bosnia, we got guys coming from Bosnia and Herzegovina this year. We got Germany, Sweden, France. We got a strong French contingent this year. We got about 7 or 8 producers.
Okay.
Shout out to my French guys. We got Scotland, all over, man.
No US trying to come over here.
No, we had a couple submit, but they couldn't make it. So.
Okay.
But Germany as well. Yeah, they're all good. Good Germany as well.
It's going to be dope. So, for those listening who obviously, I don't know if you've been on the rock, if you don't know who Hatch and Cardiak are. This guy, just give a brief rundown about who you guys are and how you got into the music industry. Cardi.
Want me to start it off?
Start it off.
Ah man, my story is super long. I'll jump a couple steps ahead.
Yeah.
I started off as an artist, trying to do this music thing, and unfortunately that didn't work out for me. My manager had a midlife crisis. Long story, but basically I went back to work, and I left my job about 17 years ago. Started doing artist showcases. My business partner now, Don DiNapoli, had approached me about doing something for producers, and at the time, we wanted to do something, but we didn't want it to be like entertainment, just entertainment. It had to be educational, it had to be about presenting your stuff to the music industry and how to get seen and heard, and what the I guess the requirements were, or what the standard should be, industry standard. And that's kind of how iStandard came about. As we were supposed to be called the industry standard, but there was a magazine at the time, so we called ourselves iStandard. We started doing these events in New York. Little by little, people would come to New York from different cities and say, hey, y'all should do this out here in Philly, or you should do it here in Miami or Atlanta or wherever. And we empower people in those cities to do like be our reps out there. They'd find venues, they would find some judges for us, they would spread the word about the event. And then, little by little, we grew into, now 35 markets in the U.S., 2 in Canada. We power the Instros event as well. And we've been able to have, incredible people like a Cardiak or a S1 or Black Metaphor, come through our platform and use it properly, and also, build relationships, but also go on after that and just do great things once they realize their potential. So it's kind of how I got started in this side of the music industry. But yeah, that's a good segue.
Super condensed version of
Smash. What was your rapper name?
Oh man, my name was Buku Bucks.
Buku Bucks, everyone.
Cardi's gonna produce my entire comeback album though someday.
Jeez, that's what I had to hear.
No bars anymore though, unfortunately.
Cardi was quick 8. Cardi was quick 8.
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave it as that.
Yeah. So Cardi, what about you? How'd you get started in the production game, man?
I got started in the production game back when I was, believe in like 9th grade. I was in high school. I was an artist first, and came across this program, FL Studio, and eventually my beats was better than my raps. You know what I'm saying? So I was making beats all through high school, and then I started taking it serious after I graduated.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's when I did the iStandard showcase in Philly.
Yeah.
Did that a couple times. Fast forward, got my first big major placement with Lloyd Banks, Kanye, Swiss Beats, and from there just took off.
Was that Start Up?
Started Up, yeah.
Sick.
Start Up and Unstoppable. Those are probably 2 of my favorite joints. That Unstoppable still to this day. Unexplainable.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite beats too.
Yeah. So as well as production, obviously you're well known for your kits as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you get started doing that? Was that something you did intentionally just to make a bit of money on the side, or?
I was kind of iffy about it at first, but then I talked to my homie Ilman. Ilman, he was put me on doing the kits and stuff. So after I did that, I was more comfortable with, giving like producers my style. Yeah. Not my style, my sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
And after a while, I figured I could use it to like collaborate as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when I started putting out like sample packs. You know what I'm saying? Producers are putting samples.
Yeah.
It's like a collaboration almost.
Yeah.
I remember you had that competition going on as well.
Yeah, the Fly Line Friday joint too. Yeah.
Which I entered, and
you entered that.
Unfortunately, bad events happened. I remember I submitted it. And I remember I was at work, and I remember I looked at your Twitter, and you were saying, "I'll resend it because there was some email thing going on." And I was like, "There was a malfunction." So I quickly resent it, and I thought it was pretty too late. And some guy around the corner from my house wanted.
Really?
But there's some guy. There's like 5-10 miles.
Who was that?
It was some guy. I think he put his app there. I checked it.
What was his name?
I forgot I don't even know his name, but I saw where he lives, and he lives like literally like 20 minutes from my house.
That's crazy.
So Cardiak, you got in. Well, first of all, like, reel off some of the placements that you've got, just so you let these people know.
Oh man,
yeah, forever.
A lot. Well, I can name. I worked with a lot of artists: Dr. Dre, Eminem, Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick, Lamar,
Eminem, Rick Ross.
I pretty much worked with everybody except Jay-Z. That's next. I'm trying to get to Jay-Z.
That's the unicorn right there.
Yeah.
Is that when you work with these artists, do you just send beats over, or do you work with a lot of them in the studio, or both?
I mean, I like to get in the studio, but sometimes schedules prevent that. Yeah. So I'm cool with emailing stuff too, because when I email beats, I'll also put I'll type up a vision, prepare for sessions. Yeah. So if I know who I'm working with ahead of time, I'll put a folder together. Yeah. But most of the time that doesn't really work out because they want something totally different than what I put in the folder. Yeah. So I'll cook up on the spot too. Yeah. It just depends on the vibe, really. Okay. Yeah.
Have you had any really difficult sessions where
the
artist was just being really just picky or really just difficult?
I don't think I experienced that yet. Not yet. Every session is really a challenge, but I'm cool with challenge. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to bring the best out of the artist. You know what I'm saying? So it don't bother me.
Plus, you got that fire, so you walk in the room and you picking something.
Right.
What was your most favorite session? Would you say with an artist?
So many.
Have you worked with Busta? Yeah. Busta Rhymes.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Imagine that this guy being the character all up in the studio.
Matter of fact, I have, but I don't think the song came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he definitely had a hold of my beats though.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know, man. Sessions with Fabulous is cool. Sessions with who else?
Ryan Leslie, what was that like?
That was dope.
To Venice.
Yeah.
Or was it Venice or
Vienna?
Vienna,
yeah, that was dope too.
Well, I watched that documentary.
I think everyone watched that. We're big Ryan Leslie fans here as well. So
was Ryan Leslie really like that guy? Is he really I will sleep for 2 hours?
Yeah,
he's proper.
Yeah. RLS is dope.
Man.
Shout out to RLS.
Shout out to RLS. Legend, man. Hatch, I'm sure you can relate to getting 2 hours sleep. He's non-stop at it. Let these people know what a typical day in the life of J Hatch is like.
It's a long day. It's a long day, man. It depends. There's a lot of things on my plate. Obviously with iStandard being its own entity, and then having 3 clients that I work that are pretty busy clients. Yeah. Then there's also a lot of stuff that I do, personally with my mobile meetings and my book. So it's a lot of, every day is a different day, but the general consensus is get up, check all the incoming information that comes in. The one good thing about what I do is, since, obviously I'm self-employed, it gives me a chance to really build with a lot of great people. And, obviously iStandard, we've been around now for 13 years, so we have about 30 people that work with us, around the country. And we're all mobile, nobody has an office, nobody has we just all kind of work through, the internet and whatnot. And, just talking to different people every day, kind of gauging the culture, what's going on either in various cities we have events in, or, whether it be a beat camp coming up or, stuff like that. We'll have conversations throughout the day. We use something called slack.com. So we have these back channels we have conversations based on. So any day could be about marketing for events. It could be about training new social media people. It could be about, setting up panelists, judges, because it's really based on relationships as well, everything we do. Or it could be a day where maybe I'm in LA. I live in LA now as well, so, it could be a day where I'm at the labels or the publishers, all day long, pitching songs or whatever. It could be sessions all night. I mean, I don't really sleep that often, but I try to be as organized and prepared as I can be, so when I walk in the rooms, I'm always ready,
So.
You touched on you said you become self-employed and been doing iStandard for 13 plus years. You recently wrote a book about how you left your 9 to 5 and made it in the music industry. Just talk to the people a little bit about your transition and how you were able to move away from the 9 to 5, because a lot of our listeners are pretty much in the same position. Yeah. Working a job that they don't like because they want to pursue a career in music or whatever it may be. Have you got any couple of gems you could drop for them to do?
I mean, I think whenever you take that leap, because it's such a huge leap, people are so dependent on, somebody else paying them at the end of every week. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you can get past the fear of worrying about where your money's going to come from, then you could take that shot. But the problem is that people are too comfortable. Instead of worrying about what you don't have, focus on what you do have. Yeah. And luckily I have a skill set that I gained while working for Aeropostale clothing company. I used to manage 18 stores, $400 million worth of inventory. I had 60 managers I oversaw.
Jeez.
I traveled every week from Vermont to New York, fly to Vermont, drive down to New York, Vermont, New York, every single week for months. I had the home store for the company. I had the highest volume store in the company.
Wow.
I had the chairman's store, which at any given time, anybody from the merchandising management to the board can come through, and I always had to make sure my shit was on point. And then on top of all that, I also was a master trainer for the region. So I had to hire all new store managers, all new district managers, train them. I used to also have to go and open all the new stores. Yeah. I was the person that would open all the new stores for the company while I still managed my 18 stores. So just imagine how organized and how on top of shit I had to be in order to. Yeah. So I utilized all those skill sets because when you start your own business, you know, it doesn't make a difference really what it is. There's really no manual to it. You know what I mean? When you open a store, there's a manual. Oh, here's the signage. Here's what a back office looks like. Here's what the store looks like. You know, you have pictures, you have diagrams, you have whatever. When you open your own business, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go get a business certificate. I'm gonna decide what it is I'm gonna do, and then, okay, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, so I was super green when I first started, but I had an artist that I really believed in, and a producer, and I really believed in, and I put everything into those guys. And what I did was, I to just have some security, I had a stock option that I got from the company. Mm-hmm. And after my father passed away, and I was so like engulfed in working, and almost trying to like forget about that part of my life, just to kind of like put my head to the grindstone and just, you know, whatever the case may be, I started getting super burnt out. And I woke up one day and I was like, man, it's not for me. Music always kind of kept pulling me back in. I wasn't going to be a rapper anymore, but I knew I had to kind of come back and do something creative in the business side of it. So the artist got locked up. And then, you know, one of the things that I was always good at Arrow was that whenever there was like a big conference or a big event, they would always point to me and be like, oh, she should set it up. Oh, he's the guy. So little by little, I started doing events for artists because I would bring my artists around and be like, man, this fucking venue sucks. It's like, the sound's horrible. They said such and such A&R is going to be here, but he was never here. So I just kind of flipped the script and I made all those, you know, strengths, opportunities my strengths. Yeah. So I was almost like my storefront. Whenever people came to my event, they were like, wow, like, it's super organized. Talent is dope. You know, everybody's real professional. You treat us all like we're stars. Yeah. And like, if I said Lenny S from Def Jam was gonna be there, Lenny S from Def Jam was gonna be there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I got the reputation of being somebody who could be, you know, trusted when all these other showcases were like starting to be scammers. Yeah. You know, and then one day it just turned into a situation where Chrisette Michelle from, you know, I don't know if you guys know who Chrisette Michelle is over here. She got her deal through one of my events. Wow. So like, you know, one day Diddy was in there, Teddy Riley, Dallas Austin, all these guys were like front row of my event, and like 3 weeks later she got a deal with Def Jam, and then 3 weeks later she got a publishing deal with EMI, and then people started coming to me because they were like, yo, who's the next rapper, who's the next songwriter, who's the next whoever. Yeah. And that's when my business partner now, Don, approached me. He said, let's do something for producers, but I didn't want to do like a beat battle. I didn't want to be like, okay, you make a beat, you make a beat, let's see who can make a beat fastest.
Was there a lot of that at the time, or?
There was really only one thing. It was Beat Society. Okay. So there was like a little beat battle going on at the New York Cafe, but that was it. You know, Dynamic Producer was kind of like phasing out a little bit, and we just saw an opportunity to do something more for the culture and for the educational side of it. And then our very first show, man, we had Buck Wild, Lenny S, and Easy Mo B judge our event. Yeah. We had like 400 people packed in this little 125 spot club. Jeez. And we're like, we only had like 6 producers in the showcase. Yeah. Oh. So we were like, wow, this is something. Oh. You know, and luckily, here we are 13 years later, so.
You were in London as well.
Right.
So, Cardiak, what about you in regards to, you know, how you transitioned into being a producer full time? You know, was it just typical kind of bedroom producer story? Were you working at the time full time, and then you kind of?
Well, at the time, I believe when I really wanted to start taking it serious, I was working like 2 jobs. I was working at Pizza Hut and I was working at Walmart. Worked at Walmart overnight, and then from there I'll work at Pizza Hut in the morning. Yeah. And then after that, I would either go to sleep or I would stay up and make beats until the next thing. So sometimes I didn't even get any sleep. But the way I did it was I had a plan. I knew I was going to quit one of them, so I would just stack my money up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Until I was comfortable to quit the other one. Yeah. And then once I did that, I was staying with my grandmother at the time too. So once I did that, I had let her know too. I'm like, look, I want to do music full time, so I'm gonna be quitting this last job. Yeah. I'm gonna still break you off, give you money every month, but you know, I'm not working no more. You know what I'm saying? So she believed in it, and you know, from there it was just I started doing music full time.
How long was it once you left your full-time job before you got your big break? Would you say, or your first big record? Was it, I guess, the started out record? Maybe?
Yeah, actually, what happened was I had already quit one job. I had quit Pizza Hut, and then I had got surgery done on my arm. I had cut a tendon in my arm, so I was out of work. I was getting like a disability or something like that, and then around that time, that's when Started Up was being worked on. You know what I'm saying? So while I was out of work, I was still getting checks, but I wasn't working. And then when the song came out, that's when I was like, that's when I quit Walmart.
How did you get that place? How did that come about?
I was sending beats to my guy Tony G. He used to be a A&R at G Unit.
Yeah.
So I was sending him beats, and you know, actually I got like 3 placements in a week that week.
Wow.
I had got like I already had the intro to Banks' album. I already had that, but then like I got like the 50 Cent Outlaw, Started Up, and Unexplainable all within that same week. That's pretty much, that was like the start of it.
That really started out.
Yeah, that's
that phone call was a good one, right?
Imagine.
I can't wait to get mine.
But you know what's crazy? I'll tell you a little side story is that Cardi was like, he was at a point where he was super frustrated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I remember he was like, I think your mom was getting on you about just like working and living at home making music, and he was like, because he didn't, you know, his first couple shows, he didn't win his first couple shows.
Yeah.
And he was a little distraught about that.
I was mad everybody was winning, and I'm like, yo, they're not even better than me, dog.
I think everyone goes through that, man.
Yeah,
right.
But the crazy part is that I remember it was like him, Jimi Kendrix, and a few other people were just having this conversation about music at Fluid one night, and Jimmy had said something to him like, yo, just, your time is going to come, like, just, you got to keep going forward or whatever. And then, like, literally a couple weeks later, because he was so persistent with, like, Tony and following up, make sure he always sent over beats when he asked him to, that when the shit all happened, it was just like this light bulb goes off, and you're just like, man, like, all I had to do was just keep going.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you're that talented and you believe enough in yourself, that's part of it. Like, you ever see that meme where it's like somebody's, you know, like the guy's, chipping at the...
right.
Let's go that way.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, sometimes it's the people that win are the people that stay around.
100%.
You know, you look at people at labels too. Like a lot of these A&Rs nowadays are really like assistants or interns that just stayed around when people quit.
Right.
You know, my guy John Eamon, who's the VP of A&R at Interscope, who does Lana Del Rey's project. He was like a little intern back at J Records 12 years ago, and then all of a sudden he's the VP. And all he did was just grow. As people left, he stayed around, and so that was it. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy.
What I think is really dope about, you know, the iStandard setup is, you know, a lot of the, you know, alumni, you know, kind of grow up together, I guess, and everyone's kind of popping now, you know, S1, you know, Cardiak. Like, I guess both of you is a question for, like, what's the importance of building relationships, not necessarily with big A&Rs at the time, but your peers at the time, and, you know, how those are the real relationships that are going to get you somewhere in the future, would you say?
And I could say just from recently too, like a lot of people don't realize how important collaboration is.
Yeah.
You know, music is very like egotistical. You know, most people like we're like, I want to win, I want to win, I want to win. You know, and it takes somebody, it takes a lot of guts for somebody to say, you know what, we can win together. Let's just try to figure it out. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people like Cardi, Illmind, S1, Black Metaphor, all these guys started realizing earlier on than a lot of other people that like, let me collaborate with other people that are working, people that I like, or people that may be better than me at something.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, like you're showing up on albums. You know, like Cardiak actually helped place 2 records with me with Focus, just because those guys were collaborating and working together since the Compton days.
Yeah.
And then like if you look at Illmind's career over the last 2 to 3 years specifically, I mean, he's a frequent collaborator with like Fuse from 808 Mafia, Murder Beats, you know. A lot of these guys, and all he has to do is just kind of either supply the sample or the sound or the kit, and sometimes you get percentages that way as well, and that's a really big way to collaborate nowadays, because sometimes it's difficult just to be in the same room to work, you know?
Yeah, like I said, like technology really, you know, helped that, you know what I'm saying? That way you don't have to really be in the same room with the artist or producer, you could just email it, you know, that's the plus side of it, you know?
Like a side note, Illmind, I have to say his career took off after he did the Instros only showcase.
Oh man!
Like after that, his career skyrocketed.
Easy.
Shout out to Ill. No, I'm just playing. So
he's never coming back here.
Yeah, hopefully he comes back to London. So besides running Ice Standards, Hatch, you also manage some artists. Talk a bit about some of the people that you're managing and how their careers have gone from from the beginning really to where they are now.
Yeah, well, the reason why we kind of started Ice Standard was to really build relationships in general. Don and I started it because we had producers we were trying to get to these A&Rs and executives and whatnot, and we said, well, instead of chasing them, why not create somewhere where they can come and almost their job can be done for them. You're looking for dope music, well, come find it here. So little by little, we would use our own system as an incubator where we'd find talent, try it out in a live setting and then see like what would be, the best case scenario for us. And, there was times like, if I had the legs and the bandwidth and the relationships that I have now, I would have loved to have worked with Cardi, at an earlier stage or S1. We've all had conversations about this, Black Metaphor. But the funny thing is like you said earlier, like, it is such a tight-knit community. Like, if we see opportunities, we do try to help each other.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple things on a play right now that I've put into play for Cardi. And, like I said, he helped place a few records with Focus, and him and Cadence work together. So there's always opportunities. But, with Kate, so the three clients we mainly represent right now are, Focus, we no longer manage, but we obviously still have an amazing relationship with him.
Yeah.
But Cadence is, for everybody who follows us on Instagram and all the socials know, her career is just kind of taken off, and she's such an amazing talent, not only from a perspective of just writing, but just her story and her ethic and how much she believes in herself, what she's willing to do to get to that level of success. She's in a short period of time, she's worked with, Ariana Grande, Kelly Rowland, like right now she's in the studio with Danger down in Miami. She was in the studio with her last night.
Crazy.
She's working with Kelly Rowland. She's working with Demi Lovato. She's working with a lot of major people. And really it has to do a lot about relationships, and also has to do with just her work ethic. Like when you have a writer who has quality but can also turn records around pretty fast. Yeah. That's like an anomaly in the world of music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then we have Sexy Drops. Those are two guys that I represent that they were individual producers. Analogic, who was mostly like, kind of boom bap hip hop, and then Luca, who's more like classically trained, guitarist, pianist, etc. And those guys started working together, and they started creating this like amazing forwardly pop sound, and in a short period of time, we've been able to do some great things. They work with Dej Loaf, Ty Dolla $ign, CeeLo Green. Analogic co-produced triple platinum with the Olympics for Ross's last album. Wow. And then we also have a singer, songwriter, producer, musician by the name of Valley from Atlanta.
Incredible.
Valley's super dope. He played the keys on Scientology on Ross's album. He's worked with Jason Derulo, Yo Gotti. Years ago, he used to work with Hitmaker. If you guys don't know who Hitmaker is, A1 Bentley and Hitmaker is like, those guys pretty much run the top line game in the world in terms of music. They work with everybody from Chris Brown to Nicki Minaj to everybody who's anybody. And then, like I said, there's so many producers that we have in the Ice Standard just world that, whenever we have an opportunity. We just started a third-party publishing company, a third-party deal with a company called Spirit Music Publishing. Yeah. So we're doing a lot of film and TV now. So there's a lot of things on that level going on, but really it just always comes down to relationships.
Yeah, sure. Always. You guys hiring them? Because you guys got a lot of things going on, boy.
I wish we were hiring.
So, Cardi, like, obviously you're a very, one of the producers at the top of the game now, and obviously I'm sure you have loads of relationships with, big artists and stuff. But even still, is it still hard to get placements, or is it pretty much if it's the stuff you send to Ross or Fabulous or whoever, you at least get one joint on most of the stuff you submit, or is it still difficult?
I wouldn't say it's difficult, but what I will say is like there's a lot more producers now. Yeah. So I guess you could say in a way it's kind of harder, but when you have the relationship with the artist, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That always outweighs everything. Yeah. Because all you got to do is just be in the presence of the artist or whatever. You can get your stuff off like that. Yeah. But for me, mostly I like working. Well, I want to work with more newer artists. You know, I look for my own artists to work with. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really chase placements. Yeah. If it happens, it happens. Mm-hmm. But I mostly want to work with like my artists or new artists. You know what I'm saying?
So are you you know, developing a lot of artists now? Are you starting like your own kind of camp where you...
Kinda, not really, not yet though. Yeah. But in a way I am. I've been working with this chick, Azion. She worked on the Compton album as well.
Okay, dope.
We already got a project together called Love Train, and we've been working on Love Train too.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope. It's a dope R&B project, and I've been working with a couple of new artists from New Jersey as well. So, you know, it's definitely something that everybody should be like looking forward to. For me,
I did like the Dr. Dre. How did that happen? How did the Dr. Dre happen?
Me working with Dr. Dre, that happened when I first moved to LA.
Okay.
I moved to LA back in 2014, and I linked up with the guy, Taim Cannon. He's the A&R over there.
Oh, sure.
And as soon as I moved over there, he had me in the studio with Dr. Dre every day. And dope. Actually, I met Taim Cannon through I Standard.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow. Connection. It's connection.
There's always there's some sort of connection. Every time.
Do you break Hatch off 10% of?
Nah, you just always talk about that. That's all we need.
But yeah, that's how that happened. That's how that came about.
You know, just to tie into what you were saying too about, you know, artists these days, like this guy knows how it is too. Like we a lot of producers focus way too much time on just chasing a placement.
Yeah.
You know, or chasing a sound or chasing like another artist, when you could, you know, be so much more self-sufficient if you can bring an artist to the table.
Yeah.
You know, you look at people like Drake, you know, J. Cole, Kendrick. A lot of these guys came in the game with their own production team, they brought the producer and the producer brought them, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So like working on those projects is almost like out of the question unless you have a real strong connection with either the artist directly or one of the producers working on the project. Like for instance, like a Drake, like you're not getting on a Drake album unless somehow you've penetrated the Boy Wonder, 40 vinyls, you know, squad. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of that collaboration does work. Somebody like Illmind, somebody like Mike Zombie, these guys all are around these guys and they're collaborating. So, you know, Drake hears something he likes, it could land.
Yeah.
But when you have a dope new artist, and with the track record of somebody like Cardiak or whatever the case may be, you know, I think people have to understand, well, all right, he's had all this success with all these other artists, right? All these platinum records, all these Grammys. Why can't he do that for his own artists?
Yeah.
You know, and even like writers too, like writers that they've written records for other people for so long. It's like, why not give them a shot as an artist and see what they can do, you know, that way? Because they've already written tons of hits for other people. It doesn't always translate, but, you know, when it does, you know, you look at people like Neo, The Dream.
Yeah, Kerry Hilson.
So many of them, you know.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So, you know, talking about that, working with your own artists and trying to bring them through, would you say it's in nowadays with the internet and so many producers and so many writers, and it's so easy to get your music out there, whether you're good or not, would you say it's easier if you're good to get noticed now than before? Or
I think so, because the internet and everything's at your fingertips.
Yeah.
You don't even have to really go through labels anymore. You can just put it on SoundCloud and it'll go viral if it's hot. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think like it's easier to sort of get noticed, and this might seem like a silly question, but doing something different, or, you know, just making a hot song that sounds like everything else, what do you think is makes more of an impact? Because, you know, there's so much music now that comes out that just sounds exactly the same, but still people are pretty much buying into it, and you know,
I feel like if it's gonna be different, then it should have some type of substance to where it affects a person, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody gotta really latch on to it if it's different, because you don't want it to be different and it's all the way left and it's like, this is whack, you know what I'm saying?
I hate it.
So as long as it has like some type of substance or whatever, it'll be dope.
And sometimes people just aren't ready for it yet. It doesn't mean it's dope or not, but like, you know, you look at like what Pharrell, you know, the Neptunes were doing at one point, and people just weren't getting it just yet. Once they got that big record, like all of a sudden everybody started getting it. So sometimes it takes somebody to see the vision. But I always feel like good music is going to be good music. So if you put like 10 trap rappers in a row and they're okay, and you put that one that's just got a little bit of a different sound but can still kind of relate to what's going on today, he'll be the one that gets noticed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you look at a lot of the younger cats that are out there, what they're doing is they're using their following and the internet and their cult, you know, whatever the case may be, and people are just, they see what they're doing.
Yeah.
They see it physically.
Yeah.
So they want to be a part of it. Like people, they either want to be like you or be with you.
Mm.
You know, and that's why a lot of these artists are winning, because like for Drake, for instance, like guys want to be with him because he's cool, he's probably bagging all the chicks up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicks want to be with him for obvious reasons, you know what I'm saying? No homo. But that goes out to Illmind. Pause, police, Illmind. But you know, like you gotta look at people like even like a Tekashi 6ix9ine, like he just has all these problems, and people like to watch a train wreck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They just want to see what train wreck is, so they're paying attention to him. He's got 6 records that hit the top 100 in Billboard without a record deal.
Crazy.
They're throwing money at him. He's like, nah, I don't want it. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different environment. It's a different, but it also depends if you want to be here forever or just be here right now.
Yeah.
It's a generation thing, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
Right?
But we're in the hip hop is in like the hair phase moment. Like I don't know if you guys are familiar with how rock and roll kind of changed, but rock and roll went from like heavy metal to like the hair bands. You know, they're all wearing makeup, they're all wearing their hair up high. That's where we're at right now with hip hop. Hip hop's only 43 years old.
Oh yeah.
So like, you know, Jay-Z to us is like Paul McCartney to rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and people are like, oh, I don't want to be a rapper at 45. I don't want to be a rapper at 48. Well, why not? You guys have rock artists that are 75, 78 years old, touring.
Still touring to this day.
Touring all over the world.
Yeah.
So it's just a different understanding. And I think if you look at the average age now who's buying music, 16, 18 years old, they were born after Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's their old school.
Actually buying the album.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That
Lil
is-
Wayne,
that's crazy.
like
Yeah,
Lil
that's
Wayne
Crazy when
to
you put it
them.
that way. Yeah.
Lil Wayne to them is like old school.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Oh, it makes me feel super old. I tell you.
Dr. Dre is like his last album came out when they were born. Like, come on, man.
That's nuts.
That's crazy.
That's nice.
So, you guys obviously are here for our big event on Saturday.
Is there?
It's Cardi's first time hearing some UK producers.
Welcome. Cheers.
Had
Cheers.
obviously
Cheers.
been here a couple of times. Again, a lot of producers listening. Question for both you guys: what are some of the things that you look for in a beat battle or a producer showcase? Obviously the quality, but anything else in particular that really kind of grabs your attention?
For me, I would say, well, number one, the drums. The drums got to knock.
Yeah.
Drums got to be hard.
100%.
And number two, can they get placed?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're here for. We're trying to, get placements, get a hit record. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, does it have hit potential?
Yeah.
Can an artist or a top liner write to it? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? That's what I listen for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
I mean, for me, it's kind of both, because obviously I'm always looking for a record for one of my clients to get connected to or whatever the case may be. And I know what they're looking for all the time. I'm big on musicality. Like, I love obviously the drums too, but I feel like I need to hear the right melodies and the right structure,
Yeah.
and it not be so much just about like the awe factor.
Mhm.
Because if you listen to like popular music nowadays, there's not really a lot of like oh shit beats anymore.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you listen to some of these albums, some of the artists that can like go that way, like you might hear a couple, but the hits are not all shit records.
Yeah.
The hits are like plain, simple, melodic, 5 instruments, maybe max.
Yeah.
But if you can have such an infectious melody
Mhm.
that makes me remember that song after the next one comes on, that's something special.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
So
yeah.
that's what I feel like I want to hear. And I also just want to hear people using some different sounds and just not kind of fall in the same, 808 trap kit, you know what I'm saying? Or
Free
the
notes.
case and be like, yeah, you just want to see some change-ups.
808 kick
808
volume 1,
right.
that basic kick. So obviously the winner of our showcase, we fly them out to ATL
Yep.
to participate in Beast of the Beats. Obviously with our standard hatch. Talk a little bit about that event, and not only that, but the beat camp that surrounds the event and how important it would be for producers to get out there.
Yeah, the Creator Awards dedicated to writers, producers, and engineers. And you guys will start seeing some stuff come up on the feed around June, July. go to musiccreatorawards.com. You'll be able to vote for your favorite producer in all these different categories. And then once you nominate them, after 2 months, you'll be picking from those top 5 to narrow it down to 1. We're going to start this year's Beast of the Beats off with the Music Creator Awards on Wednesday, December 5th.
Dope. And
then December 6th during the day, we're going to be doing like a specific experience with all the beasts alone, just the beasts.
Yeah.
Something really low key, but like very impacting. Something very intimate. Then there's 4 nights of tournament style. Actually 3 nights of tournament style, and then 1 night normally like our regular showcase. So last year we had 70 producers. I think this year we'll probably have about 120.
Jeez.
And it's basically 3 nights of tournament style, but then the last night they'll get feedback just like if they were. So it might go from like 60 pairs to 30 pairs to 15 pairs to 15 producers.
Yeah.
And then during the day, December 7th, 8th, and 9th. No, 5th, 6th. Yeah, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Those last 3 days, we do something called Beat Camp, where we'll take over SAE, which will be just more of an educational experience and networking, VIP-less experiences where you could mingle and learn and talk to and network with, some of Atlanta's biggest names. Got some surprises this year. It's gonna be a fun time, but it's dope because this is our 12th year. We've done them in New York, LA. This is our 2nd year around Atlanta. Atlanta's just a little. Everything's very close.
Yeah.
The school, the venue, the stay, where you want to stay, the culture. It's convenient because everybody's kind of in one place. So, my man Black Belt Beats will be coming out this year.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Black Belt
in the building.
We're gonna be doing something special every year. We do the winner of the Beast of the Beats gets to we fly them into a new city. So we'll probably do it all in Atlanta that weekend.
Yeah.
And last year we put Brown Royal, who was our year winner from the year before, who was only 18 years old, from Dallas.
Shout out to Brown Royal.
Yeah, he produced a record with Trap Beckham. They just dropped a video for it as well.
Yeah.
That's out now. And Black Bell will be putting him in the studio with an artist on a major label too. We're talking to a few people right now. So hopefully we'll be able to make something happen and make an announcement earlier in the year this year than last year. So yeah, man, that's what we do.
Dope. I'm trying to do Instros versus iStandard this year.
It'll make it happen, bro.
Europe
It may have to happen online first, but it'll happen.
Yeah.
How do you think we do, Hatch?
I think it'll be good, man.
I'll watch all of y'all, so you might as well cut all that out, man. I'm Team iStandard. You get your Team Instros.
Right. It'll be like USA versus like UK in basketball or something. We can put
you guys
put celebrity producers in too. You know what I'm saying? Celebrity battle,
just to make it even,
bro.
Oh, I love that Twitter. Man. That's so sick.
So Cardiak,
What's good?
Name some of the things that you're working on at the minute. I know you got a lot of stuff going on.
I've been working on like I said, Azion, Love Train 2.
Yeah.
Produced the whole project. Got about maybe 13, 14 tracks.
When's that coming up, you said?
We don't have a date yet.
Okay.
But sometime soon we're gonna figure everything out. And pretty much I just been working on like my own stuff. Like I've been like on some like real musical acoustic.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that, especially on your live as well.
Yeah, so
that's dope.
I've just pretty much been working on that type stuff.
Yeah.
Do you play instruments as well, or is it more?
I do. I play piano a little bit by ear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I'll just work with like a musician player.
Yeah.
Have them come in and play on stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it.
Did that Party project ever come out? Party Next Door?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Oh,
that Ray Sherman one as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Ray Sherman. I was on that. I was on that project that just came out. Yeah, I got 2 joints on there. Shout out to Business Boy and shout out to Mars from the Eardrummers. That's pretty much it. That's all I've been really working on, really.
Dope.
Yeah.
So, obviously you started off, like you said, making beats, in your bedroom and stuff. Sending beats out, and that's how you get in placements. Like, when would you say you made the transition from a beat maker to producer? And what would you say is the biggest difference between the two?
Well, the biggest difference between a beat maker and a producer is the beat maker just makes beats, and that's it. They don't have no vision for the song, nothing. A producer, you actually at least helping put in some type of, artistry to the song. At least like even telling the artist what to say or helping format or something. You know what I'm saying? Something that makes you a producer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like I was always a producer because anybody who I work with, I always had a vision for the track. You know what I'm saying? So even with Started Up, even though that track was emailed in, when I heard the track initially for the first time, during the mixing stage, I let Banks know what I thought of it and what I think he should change and you know, all that stuff.
Did you make any changes?
No, he didn't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I like to also let the artists do their thing. You know what I'm saying? Like be creative. That's what you're here for. You know what I'm saying? So
you don't have to name names, but have you ever like sent a beat to someone and they've done a record for it and you like hated it? Has that ever happened?
You said I don't have to say no names.
No, you don't have to say no names.
That's happened before.
Yeah.
I would say recently it happened, but what I've learned is not to jump the gun. You know what I'm saying? Because like they sent me the song back, and I was like, yo, I hate this shit. And then I kept listening to it, and it grew on me. Yeah. And then I made certain changes on my end for me to like it, and now I love it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So.
Sure. Do like, you know, major artists when they send you the track back, like, do they even bother ever making the changes that you suggest, or you know?
I mean, it's a collaborative effort. You know what I'm saying? A lot of artists that I work with, they trust my vision because I've produced on so many things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Got a lot of plaques and stuff, so like they're gonna listen to what I have to say. You know, so it's pretty much a collaborative effort. Yeah. You know, so yeah.
Did you ever tell Dre to make any changes in the studio?
Nah. I got a funny story. He actually had told me to change something. Yeah. And I changed it, but then I guess he thought it was the same thing and he gave me like hell for it. Like he told me to change the snare. Yeah. And I changed the snare and he was like, this sounds like the same snare. And then it like fucked me up a little bit. You know, and I didn't come back to the studio for like a week or two. When I came back, I killed the track. Yeah. And then that was it.
Was that for one of the ones that
on Compton? Yeah.
Which one was that?
The song that he told me to change the snare to, it didn't make the album. But then when I came back, I did the Deep Water drums.
Oh, okay. I was sick.
Yeah.
Did you do drums for the love?
For the love, yeah, I did that whole track for the love of
money.
The
love, sick.
Yeah.
I was thinking. Oh, okay, dope.
Yeah. Was that was Focus as well?
Nah, for the love of money, that was all me. But the Deep Water one, that was me, Focus. Okay. DJ Dahi and Dem Joints.
That was sick.
Dope.
That was my favorite tracks there.
Yeah, thank you.
Actually, side note, I actually remade your beat.
Really?
I put it online just because I fell in love with the beat. And for all these YouTube rappers out there, I thought, let me put that beat up. It actually got, I think, about 400 hits, 400,000 hits. Yeah, so I put it up there.
400,000?
Put 400,000. Put your name on there.
V-Man's like the undercover celebrity. He gets like random viral videos. So you need to start, collaborating with V or something because he'll get that.
A lot of people did proper videos for it and everything, and everything. Yeah,
I'm telling you, he's that guy, man. Well, actually, you've met Dre a couple times. What's it like being in the studio with Dre? When you're working with Focus and.
I've never been there when they've actually been creative. Well, not musically creative. Yeah. The first time I ever met Dre, I walked in the studio and it was around the Compton time because everybody was kind of there in town. We was doing a press run with Focus. We did some radio, did some in-store interviews, and then I'm in the studio in the lounge area, and in comes Dre. It was just me and him. Yeah. And it was just like one of those things, because in the lounge is that back area where all the food in the refrigerator is and everything. Yeah. So I'm back there just getting like a ginger ale out of the fridge, and I turn around and I swear we were so close. He was like this close to my face. Yeah. I was like, hey. He was like, what's up, man? Shook my hand, went in behind me, got something, and went back in the room. Yeah. And I was like, and then Focus came in the room, and I was like, I think I just met Dr. Dre. I don't know if that was real or not. So Dre came back out, but what happened was Busta Rhymes. Oh, there's Focus right there. What up, Folk?
Shout out to
Focus. Focus is right there. So what happened was that Busta Rhymes came in the room, and Focus was in there, and I think Ty was in there, and a few other people were in there, and all of a sudden Busta Rhymes came in with a camera crew, and you know, Busta Rhymes, you know, he's very animated or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So he's like talking to Dre like, you know, they're trying to get some footage for this, I guess, whatever documentary they're doing. And then Dre was sitting in there, and we were all kind of hanging out, and then he was showing us his movie.
Yeah.
And his TV stuff that he was doing. But it was crazy because I had my back to him, and they were having a conversation about relationships. And then he was like, Hatch, he's like, you got a girl? And I was like, yeah. He's like, is she cool with you, like, you know, running around the country and do what you do? And I was like, yeah, you know. And we started getting this, like, personal conversation. It had nothing to do with music. Yeah. I never spoke to him about anything that had to do with music. It was crazy. And then Focus, actually, I didn't want to ask for a picture. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I don't want to be like, you know, that super guy. Thirsty. Yeah. But Focus was like, hey, Ty, can you take a picture of me, Hatch, and Dre? Like, real nonchalant. And that's when I took the picture of him. Yeah. Another funny story, folks, I never even told you this, but I put that picture online, like, you know, on my Instagram, and I was like, listen, you know, inspirational kind of thing. Like, you know, when you work hard and you I was like, this is a culmination of, like, hard work and dedication. Yeah. And I was like, this is something I'm going to look back on and be like, you know, this is a highlight of my career, just being able to be in the room with these guys. And I was getting all these DMs, like, you know, congratulations, that's so dope. But I got this one DM from this kid who was like, this is exactly what he said to me. He was like, yo, I need you to take me to Dr. Dre. That was it. There was no like, hey, what's up? I really appreciate your grind. Like, really inspired. It was like, yo, I need you to take me to Dr. Dre. It took me about a week before I actually responded to the kid because I didn't want to like go ham on him, but it was a learning experience. So that was just some funny stuff.
So for future reference, no one should message you asking to take them to Dre.
No, not at all.
Is it? I heard a story. Is it true that he? Depending on what mood he's in, he wears a different kind of t-shirt. Is that true or is that...
That's what I've been told.
Jeez, he wears one of them guys.
You heard that story?
Say what?
Is that like a myth?
I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble, but from what I understand, I was told that if he's wearing certain types of t-shirts, a different color, whatever the case may be, that he has a different...
So if he's black, he's angry.
I don't know. I don't know what the t-shirts represent. That's what I was told. That's where I'll keep it.
Dr. Dre stories.
Well, I know he did wear the session I was there. He wore a black T-shirt, a gray T-shirt, and a white T-shirt, all in a matter of like 3 or 4 hours. That I was there.
I've probably got a lot of T-shirts. You can afford it. Yeah, guys. So before we go, guys, just again, Hatch, Cardiak, thanks for coming.
I wish we could talk more, man.
Yeah, we could talk all night. But let them know what you guys are currently working on and your socials and where they can find you at, and you know.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Everything is Cardiak Flatline. Cardiak Flatline. That's it.
Cool.
We need Cardiak to write a book someday.
Nah.
I'm waiting for him.
Come on, man.
Nah, not yet.
Not yet? You can find me...
Not in my prime yet. Not yet.
You can find me, everything is Mogul Status, MOGUL Status. That's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Yep.
And yeah, man, I'm actually in the process of doing my book, but an audiobook version.
Okay, wow.
So that'll be happening some point in June when I get back to LA. And you know, just keep following us, man, at I Standard. We got so many great things going on. We got a lot of new initiatives, and we'll be revamping the event a little bit. And it's gonna be a good year.
Looking forward to it.
It's gonna be a great year. Appreciate y'all for having us, man.
Awesome. Thanks for coming through, guys, and everyone listening. Thanks for tuning in. Check us out at instrosonly.com. All social medias at Instros Only. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Peace.
Peace.
Peace. No doubt. Alright, y'all tell everybody on.
So what's up? It's your boy Ryan Leslie. You know I'm all about any movement that's for producers by producers. Salute and shout out one time to instrosonly.com, the For the Culture podcast. Make sure you keep it locked.